views matter.
Hello, everybody. Assalamu alaikum, Sastika, Namaskar to all the listeners. This is Attorney Shah Parali for the Shah Parali Law Show. And today I have Michael with me on the board. Thank you so much, Michael, again, to be there among all those issues going on, and you're still there, so thank you so much. Today we're going to talk, of course, about immigration. So many news, good news, bad news, you name it. For one, the immigration ban for H-1Bs, L-1. Well, first of all, I didn't publish any video on it because seems it's another paper tiger except for L-1. For those who actually are outside the U.S. and seeking a stamping, they won't get it. That's the way it works. And 4 years applying for new H-1Bs also until, anyway, it's not open right now till next year, but even for H-1B cap exemption cases, they might not get it unless it is under extraordinary circumstances or of national interest. So, bottom line, those who are inside the U.S. for an H1, H4 extensions will still be available, transfers will still be available, but you're going to have an issue if you have to go outside for stamping. So one of the things a lot of people are asking me what to do next. So if you have to go for stamping, I will recommend, for example, let's say you get an approval with a consular processing. In this case, I will recommend people to actually try to amend this H-1B request under extraordinary circumstances to convert it into a change of status so that you can continue staying, for example. As for L1s, new L1, you won't get it. And if you already have a stamp on your passport, I repeat that, you will be able to use that to come back. So for those who are lucky, they already got their stamping and they're coming back, make sure you come back as soon as possible. So this is basically one news. And then the good news, actually, two memos from USCIS have been revoked. One of them is the employer-employee relationship, and there's also another one. Those two basically really will make H-1B a little bit more, hopefully easier, because it is not really going to be the news is that it's not going to be that hard, hopefully, now to file an H-1B, although the intricacies are still there. Let's wait and see what happens next. And also, unfortunately, today, asylum has been reversed, making it, well, not reversed, but people who were stuck in custody are not entitled to the habeas corpus, which is basically what we use to get people out of custody. This is another bad news that we are seeing, and of course now we have so many news. So another thing that we were talking about last week, for people who have a chance to get an H1 to get into a national interest waiver or on an EB1 is still available. So please make sure that you take your chance in there, because otherwise you might not get it later, because right now new things are happening and many people will not really pay attention to that. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to have, we're going to call another person, a friend of mine, a very good friend. We've been friends for years. He's a great attorney in Canada, a lawyer who does Canadian immigration. The reason I wanted to talk to him today is that a lot of my clients want an alternative to basically staying in the U.S. because they're not feeling safe, let's be honest. And we are going to see if we can refer people to him, so that at least we have an option for people to actually kind of make sense of their lives until things gets better here, and things are not, unfortunately, getting better, and because of that, we recommend that you have another option. And Canada has a lot of options, and I'll ask him to list them: investor visa, the Xpress Entry, and you will be able to call him also. Hopefully, I don't know if we'll be able to take live callers, but I'm going to ask him questions, and then Michael, let me know if we will be able to take callers. But let us know. Yeah, so Michael is saying yes, but we won't be able to take many of them because I would like him to explain a little bit. So I'll ask Michael to give him a call and then see if we can get him on air. In the meantime, we were talking about this ban, what we call the non-immigrant visa ban. Well, fortunately, it's not that severe, although we know it's going to affect a lot of people. But people who are inside the U.S. are pretty much I should not say safe, but they're still okay. And it is going to, we are going to see a lot of things happening. And also DACA was, I think we mentioned that last week. I don't know if I did, but DACA is back on track. So let's see if we can still take some applications. But a lot of people are scared to file because then they become they are at the mercy of the immigration. So it is important for you to look at all your options. If you're not able to make it here in the U.S., maybe Canada is a place to be for you. And it is very interesting how Canada has been very smart and pretty much stable country compared to ours right now. It is really sad to see America pretty much falling apart, and I really feel sad. Luckily, we are still kind of having our composure, and we are trying our best to keep things going. But bottom line, it is not really easy on all of us. It is very stressful, and many of us are not really ready to confront. I mean, not lawyers, but people are not ready to confront the reality of things. And of course, there are options to stay in the U.S. For example, if your H-1B runs out, you might be able to get a B-1, B-2 if you cannot travel back. So all those things are important. You need to look into them. You cannot just ignore that. So Michael, go ahead and let's call Sharif, if in case you can do that, and we can talk to him. I mean, not Sharif, I mean Massood. I'm confusing the people now. So let's do that, and then let's see if it is possible to talk a little bit with him what is new. I know Canada has some great investors program, so it will be good to take advantage of that. At least take it, and then if later on you want to come back to the U.S., it will make things hopefully easier for you. For example, if you become a Canadian citizen, you have the TN1 visa. So I think we have Massood on the phone. Massood, assalamu alaikum, are you there?
Salam, how are you? Yeah, I'm here. I'm
doing well. Yes, Massood. So great to have you on air. And for many of our listeners, you have been on air with us several times, so I don't have to introduce you really. You're really well known in the Bay Area, not only the Bay Area, but all over the U.S. for being one of the best attorneys.
Thanks to you.
So thanks to
your voice, Shah, is a little faint. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
The gentleman who called me earlier.
Can you hear me better now?
Clearly.
Okay. So I think on air, Michael, we can hear him properly, right? We can hear. How is it going there? I hope so. So I think we can hear you very well, Massood. So anyway, if you can hear my questions, that would be great. Tell us a little bit what's happening in Canada. What are the options for people in the U.S., for example, an H-1B, who can move to Canada? Because right now they are going through a hard time in the U.S. Tell us a little bit about the options, and then we'll take one by one, okay?
Sure. Thank you, Shah. That's a good question. Canada is always open for open arms for immigration in terms of students, investors, people who want to immigrate here to get their permanent residency, which is the equivalent of your green card. And then, of course, skilled workers. Skilled workers is professionals, and everyone is welcome. And there are different criteria for different programs. They haven't changed much. but the door is still open, and everyone is still welcome. Of course, everyone who is eligible. And there are about 60 programs, but if you're focusing on IT people or H-1B potential immigrants, then there are different programs. So there are some that requires you to have an employer. There are some that you can just apply independently by yourself based on your age, experience. It's the old point system.
Okay, tell us a little bit about the point system, Massood. I thought this was no longer there. Is it still there?
I did not hear you, Shah. It's very faint.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying that the point system is still available in Canada. People can still use that.
Yes, it's called the Xpress Entry. It's a point system, and you get an applicant will get points for his or her age, education, work experience, proficiency in the English or French languages or both. You get points if you have relatives, certain types of relatives in Canada. If you've been in Canada before as a worker or as a student, you get extra points. You get points for your spouse as well, and if you get the decent total, every month there's a draw, like a lottery draw, and then if you score the minimum that they are inviting to apply, then you get an invitation to apply, you win the lottery, and from there on it's really express entry. Within about 6 to 8 months, you can be permanent resident in Canada.
Okay, so let's take an example of someone, Massood. So, for example, let's say we have someone who is a typical H-1B and who actually has for example, let's say a master's degree, and
yes.
he's under 40.
Yes.
If they don't find a job, can they still move? What will they
What's
look
the
for?
prospect? Yeah.
Because right now the system is different.
Yeah. Canada does not discriminate in terms of profession. Okay. So the main thing is education. So if someone who is under 40 and has a master's degree and at least 3 years experience and very high level of English language proficiency, it has to be proven by taking the IELTS test, then they may score the minimum required to immigrate to Canada under that program. And if that applicant does not get enough points, then they would need to have a job offer from an eligible Canadian employer. And that's sometimes difficult to find, but in the IT sector, especially if you're talking about IT, then Canada is a very attractive place for IT workers. They're always recruiting. International, large multinationals are always relocating to Canada, so they're always recruiting.
So give us a phone number, Massood, where they can reach you if in case they have questions, so that we're going to give the phone number.
Our Vancouver phone number is 604-599-0001, but the best one, Shah, is to just email us to info@mjlawcorp, MJLAWCORP.com, and then what we do is we will just send anyone who emails us or contacts us, send them the URL to complete our free assessment. So once they fill in the form, they complete the assessment form, we'll tell them whether they're eligible or not and under what program. That's the best starting place. Otherwise, they can also read about it on Canada's official immigration department website. They can, if they have the time, they can just read everything about it. Or our assessment is free anyway. So if you want to save some time, we can easily assess your eligibility, and we can help. There's been an increase in the number of interest from the U.S. For Canadian immigration in the past. I would say in the past 6 weeks, I've seen an increase. Most people are not American citizens. Most people who contact us are not American citizens. They are expats. They're from other countries, and they are either on an H-1B visa or soon to expire H-1B visa. The question that I get asked very often is, can I get to Canada in 1 month, in 2 months? There is no such thing, Shah. There is no shortcut. There is no anything that's 6 months, around the 6-month mark in terms of processing to get to Canada is considered very fast. There are other fast ways to get into Canada. If someone wants to come in as an international student on a student visa, that takes about a month. But you have to be eligible to study in Canada. You need a student visa and so forth. The other attractive program, and there's also something that your listeners can look up. It's called Global Talent Stream. It's a very attractive program for people in all sorts of technology, but that one also requires employers. And there's another program that's underutilized. It's called a startup visa. This is mainly for people who have an idea that they think is brilliant, that's innovative. Especially these days, if your invention is to do with the healthcare sector, or food, agro industry, they can qualify to come to Canada in as little as 4 months. But they have to send us the concept of the invention or idea, and then it has to pass a few stages. And once you get, once there's a group of accredited agencies that accept or approve your idea, then you can come to Canada very fast. In about 4 months, you can be in Canada. And that does not require a lot of money. You just have to have the idea, and then if it's a brilliant idea, there are some you will get funding, and some of them don't provide funding. You'll have to come in with about $100,000 US. That's one program. There's another one that takes a little longer. It can take about 1 year to get into Canada. It's a program in British Columbia, where Vancouver is. You can start with as low as $75,000 US investment, and you don't have to have a business to qualify. You can be a manager, a senior manager, middle manager, and you invest $75,000 US. You create one job, and it can be any business. And there are many programs that allow for small investors to get immigration to Canada. But in terms of professionals,
let me interrupt you. Let me interrupt you on this one. You say
yes.
the 7,500,000. Are these province immigration that you guys call it, or is it Canadian? Tell us.
Yeah, I know you. Yeah, it's not 7,500,000. It's 75,000 Canadian US dollars, which is essentially 100,000 Canadian. It's there's a program in British Columbia. It's called the British Columbia Provincial Nominee Program, but the same amount of money or a little bit more can be used for other federal programs where you buy a small business, you operate it, and then you apply for immigration. So that one takes about 6 months. Yeah. Currently, we're seeing an increase of applications from people who are essentially expats in the Middle East, in the UK, or even especially in the US, who have worked as managers or have worked a lifetime somewhere, and they've accumulated. They are able to invest about 100,000 Canadian dollars. We try to find a solution for them. There are programs that are available. Some are about 4 months, some 6 months, some 1 year, some even 2 years. That's why it's difficult for me to go through in the short time that we have to go over all the different programs. But I just wanted to let people who are interested in Canada, who are looking to relocate from wherever they are, this option that is available, and our assessment is free. So it's not like we're going to charge them to assess them. They can submit the information, and then we can get back to them.
Great. But Massood, one question I was going to ask you. A lot of people from, like you were saying, people want to come in 1 month or come on student visa. How's the Canadian embassy right now handling things with the COVID? Are they open?
Yeah, during COVID now it's been reduced service there is no visitor visa. They are not processing a lot of temporary visas. They are, however, processing anyone who has a work permit for an essential service. And I think these things will change, go back to normal. If not July, then definitely in August, because the backlog is going to kill them. It's a huge backlog. So yes, service has been reduced across the world, and also it's not just dependent on the Canadian government. If, let's say, the Canadian embassy in India, they have to follow the rules of, if India is under lockdown, then the embassy cannot operate. So working from home is quite challenging in those instances. But the immigration officers in Canada and around the world are operating, but at a reduced level. So things are slower, but there are other things that are happening quite fast. So perhaps this is a good time for anyone interested to get started, start gathering their documents, start inquiring, getting their assessments done. Two things that are important for anyone considering to immigrate to Canada under the point system, especially for professionals. They have to take the English language test. It's IELTS.org, and they have to take the general exams, not the academic. And so language proficiency has to be proven, so English test. And then they have to get their credentials evaluated. And that also has a few designated agencies. It's called Educational Credential Assessment, ECA, and language, two important things. And then basically get prepared, get assessed. You either do your own assessment on the Canadian government website or talk to a lawyer like me. We have several lawyers here and advisors who can talk to anyone who is interested to seek guidance and move forward. Yeah, it's interesting times for Canadian immigration lawyers, because things are a little jittery down south, so we're obviously getting the benefit of that. Even our Minister of Immigration announced yesterday that anyone who wants to come here from the U.S., you're always welcome. Not just H-1B, I mean, even U.S. citizens. But they have to be eligible, they have to qualify.
A lot of them wants to leave the way things are going, but at the same time, thank you so much. I wanted to tell people this is Massood Joomratty, Canadian lawyer, is speaking with me for us and talking about Canadian immigration. And to reach him is mj@mjlawcorp, right? .com?
Yes, .com. The best one to remember is
info@mjlawcorp.com. I'm sorry.
Yes, and the best one to remember is my website. It's passportcanada.com. It's one word, passportcanada.com.
Oh, that would be great. So
it's
now, tell us which one is the most common. Is it the Xpress Entry or Investor Visa?
They're both very, very common, but Xpress Entry is the easiest and cheapest. When you come to Canada with your permanent residence, and then there's no investment requirement. So it's the cheapest and easiest. But you have to meet the minimum, you have to make the points, you have to get the score. And if you don't get that, when we do the assessment, Shah, what we do, we try to find the shortest, cheapest, easiest legal way to qualify. And then if they don't, then we tell them the next best thing and the next best thing, option A, B, C, and D. And that's how we do it. We don't impose, we don't say to people, you have to invest or you have to break the bank. We try to accommodate and advise people ethically and make sure that if they don't have to invest, they don't have to invest. Yeah, a lot of people will qualify if they have masters and very good English, but some, because of their age, perhaps, or sometimes English language is a little, because the tests are written, time tests. So some people, although they may be proficient, during the test they don't do very well, so they're shy of a few points. So we advise them along the way.
So one thing you mentioned, advising them as a lawyer. I know there are a lot of people who are not really lawyers, and oftentimes people don't realize hiring a non-lawyer, what are the implications. And unfortunately, I think Canada allows certain kind of consultants, as we call them. Can you tell us a little bit what's the difference basically hiring a lawyer and a non-lawyer? I know that
as you rightly said, Canada allows two types of people to represent anyone who wants to be represented for the immigration application and advice. One is lawyers. Definitely any lawyer can advise on immigration law, can represent a client. And the other category that is allowed is consultants. Consultants are now regulated. They have to take exams. They take a short course and they take exams and they become registered consultant. There is an agency that regulates them, etc., etc. But there are a lot of people. This is where prospective immigrants have to be very careful. There are a lot of people who call themselves consultants, but they are not recognized. They are not registered. So it's very difficult to distinguish. It's easy for someone to say, I'm an immigration agent and an immigration consultant, but it's harder for people to say, I'm an immigration lawyer. So the difference is, if you want me to talk about the difference, I really don't want to, but the obvious difference is lawyers go to school for longer, they're regulated, and if they mess up, the consequences are very serious. And the best thing about having a lawyer, immigration lawyer as your representative, and as you say, immigration attorney in U.S., is if anything goes wrong with your application or if the refusal is unfair, a lawyer can advise you and even appeal and go to the federal court or the Immigration Appeal Division in Canada. Consultants cannot appear in federal court because they're not lawyers. And I have no problem with regulated consultants, but my problem is with those who operate in the shadows, call themselves agents and consultants, and that's where a lot of people have lost money. Yeah, a lot of these operators they offer shortcuts, and there is no shortcut for immigration.
Exactly, and just I was mentioning that because in the past, people used to do that a lot in the U.S. I think it stopped like 5-6 years ago. I remember.
Yes. U.S. did a good job by cleaning up non-attorneys who are purporting to be giving advice or representing people or being immigration agents, right? That's a good thing.
Yes, exactly. I was going to give an example. I had one client who had a very genuine case, but then the consultant made up something for him while ignoring his original case. He got his green card, and at the citizenship level, they took everything away from him. And that's the kind of things people should avoid.
Yeah, and you've done this long enough. We both have seen a lot of victims of other people's bad advice, wrong guidance. And in Canada, there is something called misrepresentation. If there is any discrepancy in two applications or in an application, for instance, providing fraudulent document or false information, wrong age, or trying to anything fraudulent, even if it's innocent misrepresentation, it still amounts to misrepresentation. And a lot of times I will get clients who will say, I didn't know my agent in such and such country did all this, I did not know. A lot of clients also play very innocent and they will always blame someone else. So what happens is the Canadian law says whether you knew it or not, it amounts to misrepresentation and you're banned for 5 years. And that's it. That's the end of story.
Yeah.
So people have to be careful.
There's also a lot of bans on DUI, right? Massood,
DUI, I'm glad you brought that up. I get a lot of American citizens who want to cross the border by train, by air, or by car, who have had DUI, and that's something that's very common. So even DUI, crossing the border to Canada, it amounts to a bar. It's a criminal inadmissibility. So it doesn't mean that someone who has a DUI in the U.S. can never come to Canada. There is a process, there's an application. It's called criminal rehabilitation, and it's an application that we do, and it requires a lot of documents and legal submissions, and then that can take away that criminal inadmissibility bar from if you have a DUI or any criminal offense for that matter. Yeah.
Oh,
that's very common.
Does that apply?
A lot of people.
5 years?
Some people. Sorry.
Is it even after 5 years that rule apply to them? They still have to get clearance?
Yes, definitely. It's lifelong. You can apply for criminal rehabilitation if 5 years have passed since you completed the sentence or paid the fine. So often what happens, you'll have someone who is in the tech sector and has to fly to Vancouver for a meeting, and suddenly what happens is they end up at the airport and they are criminally inadmissible. They fail to disclose that they had a DUI in the past.
That's very interesting. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Attorney Shah Parali with in conversation with Attorney Massood Joomratty. You know, the system there is very different than the U.S., where we have a lawyer, the word lawyer, but there you have barrister and solicitors, and Massood is a barrister. So again, to reach out to him, like he says, check on his website. You can you have passportcanada.com. or you can info@mjlawcorp.com, and they will do an assessment for you, and hopefully you should be able to get into Canada. Massood, tell us a little bit what are the latest things that is really hot out there. I know the Xpress Entry, but what people are really looking for when they call you?
The latest one, the hot cake, Shah, is people say I can invest around 200,000 Canadian dollars, which is maybe 150,000 US. So the quick way to do that is we help them find a business, any small business, and they come to Canada on a special work permit to operate their business. That process takes about 4 months. And once they're in Canada operating their business, then we apply for their permanent residency. That's going like hotcakes because a lot of people can afford that kind of money. And also, they're investing in their own business. And the incentive for the small businesses to accept this kind of buyers is small businesses who are looking for cash flow, looking for a partner. It helps them. So it helps everyone. It helps the business owner. It helps the prospective immigrant have a business. And we have a long list of eligible businesses. When I say eligible, means they're profitable. We have their financials, and they have been in existence for at least 3 to 5 years, and they have a healthy balance sheet, and the prospect is good. We don't of course impose, but we will show our clients 3 or 4 businesses. I have a team of people who are business consultants and business managers. They will scout and introduce and work with those who want to come to Canada through this route. That's the hot cake. And then of course Xpress Entry is the best if someone gets enough points. And then there's an increased interest in the healthcare sector and agricultural workers, Shah. These two have been deemed to be essential, including truck drivers, actually. Yeah, truck drivers, farm workers, all levels of farm workers, from managers to greenhouse workers, laborers. And Canada has a good program with Mexico, where some seasonal workers come in for a few months in the summer. But the farm worker I'm talking about is full-time round the year, and farm owners are looking for good people who are committed to work, and those are currently being expedited. healthcare sector, farm workers, and even truck drivers.
Great. So, Massood, we'll have another 5 minutes. Tell us a little bit. We will do that now more frequently, and we will cover one visa at a time. Today we just kind of covered everything in general.
I missed that again. You said you have 5 minutes, and then I lost you.
I'm so sorry. I think because we're both on the phone, that's why it's going.
Yes.
So what happens is that we have 5 more minutes to go. So I wanted to give us. Today we did a general overview. Hopefully we will do those shows more frequently, and we will cover anytime. One topic at a time.
Yes.
And so that we can focus. Like, for example, maybe in a few weeks we'll talk about Xpress Entry. What are the ways and the ideas,
drill down
how you can help, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, exactly.
In the last 5 minutes,
tell us a little
bit. Go on.
Go ahead. That's what I was. That's what I was going to say. Go ahead.
Two items that I should have told you about. One is called the Intra-Company Transfer. So basically, anyone who has a small business anywhere in the world and wants to relocate their business to Canada, that one can happen very fast as well. Sometimes a few weeks, sometimes just a few months. It entails moving your business to Canada, and you come to Canada on a work permit to operate your business as the president, as the CEO or manager of the business. You can bring your team with you if the business requires, and then you and everyone else can apply for immigration as well if you're eligible. And then finally, just very quickly, there are a lot of people who may have got their permanent residency in Canada, and they got their PR card, and then let's say they return to U.S., and they have not come back to Canada and their PR card has expired. That does not mean that they have lost their permanent residency in Canada. A lot of people believe once my PR card has expired, I have lost my residency in Canada. That's not true. You can still come back. There's a process. There's something called a travel document. Again, we can advise on those. They are very specialized, and we can help people who find themselves in those situations to come back to Canada.
Okay, Massood, you talked to two different issues which I want to a little bit expand on. We still have around, I think, 3-4 minutes, Michael is telling me. So you said on the intra-transfer, we have that in the U.S. L1 visa, which now kind of Trump blocked a little bit.
Yes.
But I wanted to get a little bit more details on that. For example, you say you're transferring your business. Are you talking about someone opening a branch, a subsidiary, or someone has to move the business physically?
No, you open a branch in Canada. Correct. That's a good clarification you sought. Yes. You just open a branch in Canada and you can transfer yourself. So you don't have to give up. You don't have to close one to open another. You just open a branch in Canada. That's the intra-company transfer.
Okay. And my second question was basically, I kind of lost now. What was my second question? But I wanted for you to tell us a little bit about right now, if people are, luckily Canada is still open, and we have a great government so far there. Yeah. But I wanted to tell people when they go to Canada, what can they expect? Because a lot of people kind of don't go to Canada because they have this preconceived idea what is Canada. Cold, lots of taxes, no jobs, but that's not really reality. I've been there so many times. I love the country, by the way.
I only have one answer. You know, I come from an island, hot island, and then I'm still alive. So it's not like we're all freezing and living in igloos in Canada. We have proper heating system, and it's not always cold. We have summer, winter, fall, and spring. And today is very sunny. But my answer to lots of taxes and our healthcare is just this. Look at how Canada and the Canadian government did during the coronavirus outbreak. Look how the government supported people who lost their jobs. You know, if people don't know, just go look it up. Canada.ca/COVID. You will see that thousands and thousands, if not millions of people who were helped when they lost their jobs. They supported employers to help with wage subsidy. The number of people, even international students were helped in Canada, not just Canadian permanent residents and citizens, even people who are here on student visa. Canada is helping them. What does that mean? It means it has a deep enough purse to be able to afford all this kind of unexpected and huge expense, right? So we pay taxes, yes. Everyone pays taxes. Maybe we pay a bit more taxes than in the U.S. But we have a glorious free healthcare system, and we have the help that we need when it's needed, like during the COVID pandemic. So that's all I have to say. I just compare our performance during the coronavirus, and you will see the choice is clear. You may have all the wealth, all the titles and everything else in the world, but if you don't have a good support, good healthcare system, and you don't have the security, food security, good healthcare system, and a government that can support workers and employers, then all your wealth is not going to be useful.
Exactly.
So,
well,
my parting shot is Canada is open. Come, and we'll be happy to help you.
Exactly.
And I'll give you my phone number.
Michael just told me, I think I miscalculated. We have another 3 minutes.
Okay.
Massood, so tell me a little bit. Okay, by the way, as a footnote, I come from the same island as you. We are from the same, Mauritius island, so we know how it feels. But right now, one of the things that many clients have been telling me is, we don't speak French, and they have that. There's a lot of those preconceived
the perception
if
is
I don't
Canada,
speak French, I won't pass the test.
No. The official languages in Canada are English and French. And you don't the whole of Canada is not truly bilingual per se. Like in Vancouver, British Columbia, yes, there are French-speaking people, but majority is English. So if you don't know French, it's not a disadvantage. If you know French, then you can become a judge. You can become the Prime Minister of Canada for sure. But that's the major incentive. Other than that,
we can run, right?
Very well.
So we can run for that. We speak French, right? So
yes, regardless of our birth certificate.
Exactly. So one thing, the other thing that I want to kind of break that ice, because a lot of people have been fearful to move to Canada because that appetite for the Silicon Valley, right? And that's where most of those people, it's more like, I should not call it an ego thing, but it's a lot of pride to work in the Silicon Valley. But I know Canada is building something similar. Tell us a little bit about that. Yeah,
Canada is always trying to replicate the Silicon Valley. We have Hollywood North, lots of Hollywood movies are made here, even Bollywood actually. But there are two types of people that I personally will say to them, you don't have to come to Canada. If you are going to constantly compare Canada with Silicon Valley, with California, with US, then you're going to be miserable. Don't come here. Please stay where you are. And Canada is not forcing anyone to come here. It's inviting people. If you want to make Canada your new home, you're very welcome if you're eligible. And those who are afraid, please do your homework, read, visit Canada if you have to, and then take a look. Talk to people. We are close by, right? But we don't want to convince anyone to come to Canada. We want people who want to come to Canada to come here. So there's a difference there. And, there are enough people in the world who are lining up to come to Canada. And Canada does a great job with refugees, with repatriating its people from everywhere around the world. And I don't have to promote Canada. I can only promote its programs that are open, and it's designed for people who really want to look at Canada. Canada is a different country. It's not the U.S. It should not. It's unfair to compare Canada to U.S. We have a completely different system. We have a completely different culture. So don't be scared. But if you're very scared, don't come to this scary place. As simple as that.
Well, I've been there many times, and I can tell people personally that I don't see a lot of difference. You have the nice cars, same nice cars. You have more land, which is a lot of what I like, and
we have plenty of water.
Overpopulated.
We have lots of water. Yeah,
exactly, and a lot of food, which is now becoming the major, and plus less racism. Well, although there's some, but less racism, which is very, very important now.
Yeah, and our water is free. Healthcare is free. So I try not to promote Canada because I don't want people thinking, oh, you told me that Canada is glorious, this and that. No, I just want people to do their own homework. I'm here to facilitate their journey to Canada. If they want to start this journey, we're very happy.
Yeah, you are not. I'm promoting Canada now because I'm getting tired what's going on here. To be honest,
well, I'm inviting you to move here too.
Well, I'm thinking really seriously about it now.
Of course.
But Massood, thank you so much, my friend. And,
thank you.
And,
thank you.
Just before you go, I want people to know this was lawyer Massood Joomratty. He's a Canadian lawyer, licensed lawyer, not a consultant, and he has been talking to us about immigration to Canada. Hopefully, I'll have him more often on the shows. And in order to reach him, you can just go on the website passportcanada.com, right, Massood?
Yes, correct. And my phone number, if you want, is 604-599-0001.
Okay, repeat that, please, because
604. Yeah, 604-599-0001.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Massood. We'll hear you probably in a couple of more weeks, and we'll talk about a specific visa. Today we just had a general overview, and thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. And
take care,
we'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
So, take care. So, ladies and gentlemen, we had attorney lawyer Massood Joomratty with us. We use the term lawyer because in America that's what we use, but for him he's a barrister of law, which is a different, which is the English system, and probably if people from India they will understand we have solicitors and barristers, and not in America we don't have that. We are both, and I wanted to thank him. His work is really excellent. Like he said, it's a different culture, different way of working, so please reach out if you need help. And if you need help for immigration, on my side, 510-742-5887. Before I leave, since now things are getting a little bit hectic with what we're seeing in terms of the H-1B, a lot of people panicking. But there are reasons to panic, like I said, but it's not that bad if you're inside the U.S. So call us. We can do a consultation and assess your case. 510-742-5887. 510-742-5887. And also, for those who are really kind of struggling and pretty much kind of using their credit cards right now, ultimately you will have to pay those credit cards or eventually maybe, unfortunately, file a bankruptcy. But we have a way to kind of avoid that bankruptcy by negotiating those debts for you, not only your credit cards, and also probably on the house market, if second mortgages, if the value of the house went down, you can call us 510-742-5887. We will do what we call a debt settlement for you. A debt settlement is basically the negotiation of your debts to reduce it to a fraction of its value. For example, you owe $10,000. We might be able to negotiate it for maybe $5,000 or $2,000, and the rest is forgiven. And we are not fixing credit here, but ultimately once you make a deal and you pay it, your credit will come back slowly if you have other credit cards or things bringing your credit up. So it is important, if you need help, you can give us a call, and the blog to check is yourdebtsettlementattorney.com, yourdebtsettlementattorney.com. I wanted to mention to everybody, lots of times people tell me, oh, I didn't update my website. Yeah, I don't, because it's been hectic. It takes some time to update the information. So what I do update more often, at least once a week, is our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Sharpiralilaw, youtube.com/Sharpiralilaw, and I recommend that you check it and you subscribe to it, so that you can at least get an idea what is out there. Hopefully, I try my best to update, but things are moving so fast. Like already in like 2-3 weeks, so many things change. And speaking about, if you look back in time, everybody is lingering for 2019. Life was okay. We saw a future. We saw things getting better. But then suddenly we got hit by the COVID. Then after that we have the protest. We have the racism coming up. We have all this crazy stuff on the road. People don't know what they're doing, and you name it. And we are seeing a lot of loss of jobs. But at the same time, we are seeing a lot of hiring. So if you need help filing for your H-1B, transfer, U-Visa, family petitions, marriage petitions, give us a call, 510-742-5887, 510-742-5887. And just to let you know, anything I have told you today, or Massood have told you today, is our opinion. You should not act or refrain to act solely on the information provided. You should contact an attorney if you have any questions. It is important to understand that when we are giving you this information on the radio, it's very short and brief, and we cannot really cover the topic in details. So make sure that you talk to an attorney, and a licensed attorney, and you can call our office. We are licensed lawyers, and my number is 510-742-5887, and to reach Massood is info@mjlawcorp.com. or just go on passportcanada.com. You can do an inquiry right there, and hopefully you have a backup. Just to let you know, you can always take Canada, my 2 cents on that, and still keep processing your green card here while you're in Canada. So we'll talk about that next time, but don't let the chance go, because I'm telling that to people because ultimately we don't know how things are going to unfold. Some people are never going to get a green card now the way things are going, and some people might not even be able to don't have the courage to continue for years and years. So one of the options, let the case run here, and then go to Canada, enjoy Canada, get the citizenship, etc. Then make a decision. Thank you so much. Thank you, Michael. Michael is telling me it's time to go. I wanted to thank Radio Zindagi, and please subscribe to our channel, youtube.com/Sharpiralilaw, SHAHPEERALLYLAW. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye. We'll be back next week, same time. Thank you.